So where are we at, little girl?
Pittsburgh.
And what's it called? The
College of Knowledge.
Yes.
Seminar.
ABC Supply putting on a seminar at the casino in Pittsburgh. So we're going to try to learn something. And one thing I'm kind of a little bit shy on knowledge of is attic venting. I'd like to know a little more about it. And they're having a seminar specifically from Lemenco. So we're going to have about 60 vendors here. So we'll go to explore some of these vendors and see what we can learn about construction. Yeah, I've never been in here. It's pretty.
It's better than a parking garage.
A little bit, yeah.
I like how the carpet matches the ripples on the water.
Mm-hmm. You got the incline right there. Welcome to Pittsburgh.
Probably pretty at night.
Oh, I'll bet it is. You know, I don't want to film the casino part, but we had to walk through the casino to get up here to the actual event. But it's a pretty place. Well, not bad so far. We got ourselves some nice little cakes and some food, and looks good. Got hoodies and a couple other things in the go bag. We got coffee, a lot of vendors. Can't wait to start going around and taking a look at all the different vendors and see what we can learn. So you had a very good question.
Yes. Now, as a contractor, and you come in here and you're surrounded by other contractors, do you feel a little bit of camaraderie, like, yay, we're here to learn at the College of Knowledge together, or do you feel a bit of rivalry?
That's a good question. I honestly feel more camaraderie. I think we've all kind of carved out our own niches in construction and what we do, so it's really not a competition thing, and we all want to do better at what we do, so we're all here to learn. So to me, it's all of us learning together to better the field of construction.
Good answer.
I'm kind of interested in Everlast siding because I actually just did my first Everlast install.
Okay.
And it went pretty good.
Nice. What did you use?
I really do love the board and batten. I think that's a really good product, the way it goes together.
Right, yeah.
I did film that for the channel. But yes, I like it because all the water is going to go that way. You're not going to have any problems, you know what I mean? It's sealed well. The siding, I think install was pretty good on it. I pretty much liked it. A little concerned about, and I've heard other people's complaints sometimes about the seams where you seal them together.
Okay.
A personal thought, the screws are very, very short. They go in there to connect the two.
Right.
Have you had any problems with these not adhering well enough into the material and they start to open up?
No, so the way that Everlast is designed, when it's done correctly, these screws are only about 5/16 of an inch. So they're only designed to go into the panel into the bead of the panel.
Correct.
Not the wall behind it.
Right.
It's important when you're installing it that you're not over driving that fastener. You don't want to drive it too far where it goes out the back of the panel and it can potentially rip your house wrap, or strips the screw. Well, not strips it, but strips that hole. You know what I mean? Where then it's no longer has that.
Right. And I think that was a big concern. I mean, is that it would not strip, because it's not soft material, but you could overdrive it, like you said.
So best practice,
that's something to be very careful
when you're feeling that, get that resistance, and you start to feel, once it gets there, is where we try to tell you to let up. You don't want to overdrive it to where it's loose, because now it doesn't have that.
You're not putting a lug nut on a car.
Exactly.
It just has to make an indent in there enough to keep it so that the panels don't slide.
Correct.
Right.
And you make a good point. It is important to really manage your expansion and contraction with this.
Correct. Every 30 feet, I think, is where your break is for one section screwed together.
60 feet.
60 feet. That's right. It was 60 feet.
Right. But with this bracket, it's designed to keep you a nice, clean, uniform seam, right? With expansion contraction of this, you might have a 16th inch of a gap. That is tolerable from our
Okay. All right. That's something I didn't know for sure, so I'm glad you brought that out.
So you're not going to get something drastic at an inch, half inch, anything like that.
Because we did get, as things cooled down, because we did it more in the summer, and we went back and inspected it when it got a little colder out, and we had that, just in places, like you said, about about a 16th.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that's acceptable.
tolerable just
Okay,
because
good.
of manufacturing and within tolerance.
Yeah, and sometimes the cut is. I mean, even though it's machined, they're not.
Correct.
There's going to be a slightly different.
Right.
Sometimes,
Correct.
Right.
But the better you manage your expansion and contraction on that install, the better that seam is going to look. Right.
Right.
Making sure your panels are loosely hung. It's a floating system, to where your panels you should be able to move them side to side, and everything be moving freely.
Yeah.
Around your doors and windows, when you're using it in the pockets, making sure you're keeping a 1/4-inch gap in that pocket, around those doors and windows, to make sure everything can move
Crucial,
freely.
really. Especially we did like the blue spruce, dark color.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be a lot of
Exactly.
expansion
It's going to be
contraction.
you're gonna see a lot. It's just going to take on more, where you're going to have more instances of it having to move. Right.
So you're saying that it's absolutely made to have some seam so that it can come out.
It's just that's what's in its tolerance,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Just because it's a manufactured product, everything moves. You can't defy physics. Your seam is not going to drastically open to where you're seeing your tie back behind.
Right.
But a minimal seam, within a 16th of an inch, is within.
And basically, your Tyvek, I mean, anything that gets past here is made to go to your waterproof.
That's your
It's crucial
water
that you have to put that behind
That
there.
is crucial.
Exactly.
Make sure your windows and doors are properly flashed.
Yes.
Yes, that is crucial.
Yeah, that's one thing people misunderstand about any kind of siding. They think that's everything. It's going to completely keep the moisture and everything out of there. But as you said, it's going to get in places a little wee bit. You're going to have sweat sometimes behind there. Things happen like that.
But the advantage is your panel isn't going to deteriorate.
No, that's never going anywhere.
Right? So
Yeah,
that swelling and the lamination that you'll find with alternative products, you don't have that with Everlast.
Yeah.
Any moisture that gets behind here is going to be able to evaporate.
And it also, the way it locks, it's designed so it can just keep going down.
Exactly. I mean, it sits on the wall in 2 places, right? Only at the nail head here and at the hook here. So there's enough of an air gap there for anything to alleviate.
Okay.
So
I used. Is that 5.5?
That's 5.5
Yeah,
inch.
this is exactly what we used at the top, the freeze board
For
at
your
the top.
brake?
Yeah. Now my only, not criticism, but the thing I was a little concerned with is the fact that you're nailing it down here at the bottom, and you've got this heavy panel, and the top kind of wants to do that. It's kind of tricky to keep this tight to the top.
Keep that from rolling away.
You're not putting your F channel over that.
Right.
It's on top of it. At least it was because we already had soft innovation.
Fair enough.
So, I mean, what's your
So this is like
thoughts on that?
this is your standard trim that you would find, from other manufacturers, right? So you could shoot right into this with a finish nail.
We did. I'm glad you said that because we were hoping we didn't mess up.
Yeah, no, that's-
not a lot, but occasionally we
Wherever
had
you
to.
need to, yeah.
Okay,
You can
okay.
pop that in there, and that's
Good to know.
I mean, just what you would do with any standard trim.
Okay.
That's, So Everlast is manufactured by Chelsea Building Products, manufactured in Oakmont, Pennsylvania, probably like 20 miles up the road from
We had to go get some more materials, so
So you had some
homeowner
of
actually
that?
drove down and got that.
Okay.
So yeah, it was kind of nice to be local.
And we're a polymer, extrusion manufacturer, so we extrude these lineals as well for ourselves, for this system, and for other manufacturers too. So whatever you would do with your existing trim, you can do with this stuff.
And the outside corners, when you stack it, because we had to go, like a 20-foot wall or whatever, and it's just like kind of like anything. Some guys with vinyl siding, they kind of like interlock them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you really can't do that with that. I mean,
Right.
you're basically going to have a line there.
Yeah, there's
Nothing you
going to
can
be a
really
line
do
there.
about it.
If you're using white, I've seen some guys get fancy and like weather cut it, and just like at an angle, so that way you don't have like a flat line. But
Okay,
you're going to see
okay.
something there. One thing we did though, we do have 20-foot corners now.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So hopefully you don't have too many times when you have to break up the wall like that.
You don't have a J channel. J channel? Oh, you got it in your hand, that's why. Okay, that was the other thing that was a little bit different for me. Again, you're used to vinyl, you're going to make, little tabs and bend them over and interlock them, and you really can't do that.
Right.
We kind of 45'd our corners. I mean, is that
Mitered them, for sure. Yeah, and there's
it
some
look
ways-
cleaner that way.
You get a nice clean look, so you can miter it.
Thick product.
You can picture frame it if you'd like. Sometimes if you need to use a PVC adhesive to keep that tight, you can. One thing I've seen some people do, they'll bend our seam bracket at a 90, and then your mitered end, put it in to keep that nice and tight there.
Oh, that's nice.
So there's little tips and tricks
Yeah,
there
right.
that you can do when you're But yeah, I mean, it's not your typical vinyl trim. It's more like your indoor trim.
I didn't know you had. I didn't see the T-molding.
So this is a new piece. This was just released maybe 3-4 months ago. So are you familiar with our two-piece trim?
No.
Okay, so
that either.
there's a couple pieces here. You've got your trim receiver, your perimeter trim with a 1.5-inch face, and then our new T-mold piece, right? So they use the same receiver piece, both of these pieces. Basically, if you think about terminating at the top of a window or terminating at the top of a wall, you would run your receiver piece first, then you would run your trim. Then you can run your siding. Wherever you need to cut it, cut it to measurement. And then you can fasten just above that panel to keep it fixed in place. That way, if you need to, you can still put a seam bracket on the panel, everything like that. And then this piece just snaps right on over.
Makes it look like a J channel.
And it's a J channel.
That's pretty
There's
slick.
2 settings.
Nice.
So once it's in there, it's in there,
I
right?
just have that 2 settings to the different thicknesses you land on.
Exactly.
I love that.
Exactly. And then now with this uses the same receiver. This is going to be for your long runs. So when you get to a length, 60 feet or longer, 70 feet, whatever it is, run this vertically where you want that break to end up. And then this also, and this is a new piece, so it's hard to get on in there.
That snaps in there really well.
Pretty,
Yeah, I mean, you can see
it's
there's quite a lot of connection there, so that's not going anywhere.
And you're still leaving that 1/4-inch gap.
Yes. Now, we didn't really run into it, but your panels, these were the 7,
6 and 7/8, 7-inch reveal, yeah.
Anyway, if you're cutting around a window and you have to cut it like here, you've got most of your panel, but the thing of it is it's still setting on top of the last piece, and you got to snap it in, and then you got your J channel over it. So you still don't need to nail it or do anything with it, even though you've got.
Yeah, you should have enough hook on both sides of that window, either side of that window, where you're
Trying
good.
to split it on the window.
Correct. Yeah.
Then you won't have to worry about it.
Because you don't want to seam under the window.
No, we
right?
didn't. That's what I was saying. I was like thinking about it. I'm like, we didn't have that problem, but I know I've run into a regular vinyl siding, so I just figured I'd ask you on here. Okay. Nice. Well, it's a nice product. And then
Yeah, I
this
appreciate you guys using it.
this
So
is
that's
like
our
at the bottom of-
brick mold
Yeah.
for masonry breaks. So imagine if you were going over stone. You
We
had
did
like
that.
a skirt.
We just it had aluminum
Just use
bent
a little-
over it, so we
that
just
works
added
too,
J channel.
yeah.
But that's a nice clean look.
Yeah, it's a little decorative piece.
option. Yeah. Cool.
Appreciate you guys using it.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was a good experience.
No, it was a good.
My name's Isaiah. I'm regional
Okay.
sales manager. If you guys have any questions, we'd love to answer them.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
So we've got a zip hinge. This is the first thing I've seen this in a display, and I think that is one clever idea right there.
You can believe how much of that would sell.
I bet
Because
because
simple hinge, it's a true hinge.
how many lawnmower people have to cut their grass? They have to get off and move a piece of gutter that's in the way, and that's
Simple
all you gotta
flip.
do. Just flip it up.
145 cut, and you can
Yeah.
make this 1 foot, 5 foot, 6 foot, whatever it takes.
Whatever, yeah.
Get away from the foundation.
Right.
Protects your shrubbery, protects your landscaping.
Yeah.
Keeps the water out of your basement.
And all it is just two.
And there's a lifetime warranty on this piece.
Nice.
Anything goes wrong with it, we'll send you new ones.
There you go.
And it's a true hinge. A lot of guys will put a pop rivet, see, and then
Right.
that wears out.
I've seen that.
Wears
yes.
out in a minute.
Right.
So GPI comes out of Omaha, Nebraska, privately owned company.
Okay.
So we make a louvered hood, which works on surface tension. Water grabs the shingle.
What was the apprehension of those? I mean, I've seen them, but I don't know. It's like you think they would just run right over it. If you heavy rain, it won't run right.
It won't run over.
Okay.
If you go in the sink of your kitchen and take a water glass, turn it sideways, turn the spigot on.
I got a water bottle.
The water will wrap around the glass.
Right.
Surface tension.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Once those shingles saturate, then everything drops right into the water channel. So then you go to a drop-in that's suitable. But all of our products have a performance warranty, not just a standard warranty. Lifetime, no clog. 20 years, no clog.
Right.
Inside the
Yep.
Then we go to the conventional old
Yeah.
screens.
Yeah. I've taken all those out.
Oh, I know. I got a guy on the West Coast or the East Coast called me and said he buys these, but
Yeah.
he uses them when he tears a roof off. If it doesn't have covers,
okay.
he puts these on, then
Keep
he doesn't
everything
have
out
to
of
clean the
it.
gutters.
Yeah. Okay.
I said, you're kidding.
Interesting.
It
Wow.
was a good idea. You know?
Yeah, but I know they make different profiles for different kind of hangers depending on
Yeah,
what hangers
exactly.
you
So
have.
that steps over the hanger.
Right.
See how the hanger is
Yeah.
versus this is flat.
Right.
And what happens if you start forcing it over it? You create a dome, which causes stuff to get trapped back here.
Ah.
So you want to make sure that's flat.
Yeah.
So that's why this is there to cover the hanger like that. Good. We got our own hangers. And we also have 16-ounce solid copper.
I see that. That's pretty.
In the hood system, if people are resistant to going under the shingle, which we don't screw the roof, we screw the front. So we created a product with a modified F channel.
Okay.
So with the F channel, you mount this, you mount it against your drip edge into the fascia board, go around and measure, trim, and cut.
Oh, wow.
Fits together. Then you have with this look.
Right.
So the surface tension will still work the same way.
Nice.
Then we have these in high flow and solid.
Oh, okay.
So depending on the pitch of the roof, you might want a little extra drainage with this.
Metal roof or something.
For sure, in every valley you want this.
Yeah.
There's an interlocking set the way it's set up.
Oh, that interlock's really nice and clever. That's simple. That's pretty simple.
You can run solid and transition to this.
Yeah.
And it's H24 gauge, H24 temper. And the temper is important because at H24 you can bend it won't break and crack.
Oh, okay.
So what happens at a job, if you go 212, 412, 612, you just come out to the job and you adjust the pitch here, go right up the roof. So it's pretty easy to work. 16 colors.
Nice. Well, thank you.
Thanks for stopping.
Yep. So here we got the reason I'm here. Justin from Newcastle store. So he let me know about this and appreciate it.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. Yes.
Some good stuff here. So.
Lots of information to learn.
Yep. So thank you.
Looks like when it gets plugged up. That's all dust coming off there. That is built up in this filter. That's why we don't run filters. We run a single layer screen. As the filter gets plugged up over time. Alright. Let's turn the light off and see what that difference looks like. Isn't that crazy? That is wild. Furnace filter for Ridgeman. Whoever thought. So
All right. So what's your thoughts after going to the seminar for Lemenko for venting?
It's extremely important to get the right vent system.
Did you learn anything?
Yeah. Like, have one vent. You can't have two different or three different types. So you have to have one air intake. You have to have the other one to exhaust it. If they're too close, it just works like that. It doesn't work the whole attic. It just
Yeah, it's not pulling the air from the bottom and taking it out the top.
Yeah,
As-
which
which
you want
it
to
do.
exhaust,
Circulate, breathe.
You want to exhaust the whole space,
Right.
not the first 4 inches of the space. And if you do it wrong, you're actually it will reverse, and it will suck snow and debris in, and try to exhaust it out the other one, instead clogging, and don't use a filter.
Reverses the airflow. I've actually encountered that 2 times so far that I've actually seen snow laying down underneath the ridge.
Yes, and it's not the contractor's fault all the time. That is what they are told to use.
Yeah. Get the ratios right, 50-50, air intake and exhaust. Get
It's
it flowing the
science.
right way. It is a science. It's all, everything in your home has become a science, really. And the more we seal these homes up, the more we're finding more and more problems, too. So, and then weather's getting more inclement. So, you know, all this has something to do with it, but it's very important to get the right person to do the job and to do it right. So, yeah, it was pretty good.
It was
I didn't learn a lot,
useful.
but you learned you have a couple questions now, don't you, for our house?
Yes, mine is we put a ridge vent in where there wasn't one originally, so it had gable vent.
Yeah.
So now it sounded like if it was lower than
3 feet.
feet, that it won't go
Won't
feed
compete, yeah.
feed and miss the whole thing.
He-
But if it's lower than 4 feet, it sounds like it will help with the draft.
It could be an air intake if it's lower than.
Which is the
he was
reason-
mostly talking about if you have 2 roof lines, you have an upper roof line and a lower roof line, and so you might want to separate those 2 roof lines into 2 separate attics because of the airflow is going to compete from the lower one and the upper attic.
Yes, if
and
it's
it'll come
sharing.
through if it's sharing ventage. So yeah, it's another thing to think about. Now in our case, I'm not sure I even had them cut any of that out. If so, we've got foam in there, which is kind of something I've learned because we usually use the flow vent, which is good, but it can get clogged up over the years with dirt and debris. So that's a concern. I'll have to look into seeing how that goes.
They suggested if we do have a problem to seal off the gable vents.
Yeah, right. And I always kind of had
And
that
use
idea.
the soffit venting.
Yeah.
That
Let it flow properly. And that's part of the reason why we were there and we were already doing the roof and metal. I wasn't going to back up there. Like, I can always close off the gate vents anyway, especially since we were having critter problems for a while and I've had to put screen over. But at any rate, that's something I'm going to monitor on the way that we did this house. Making changes to old houses, especially something from the 1800s that was working all these years, or was designed for slate roof, and it had slat boards. I mean, all this changes the flow of the house when you start putting the sheet OSB over top of it and shingles. Now we've got metal roof, so we've kind of changed the way this house breathes. So it's something to look into, and we will definitely do that.
Yeah, I hope it forgives us.
Enjoyed your presentation.
Hopefully you learned a little bit.
What I wanted to have you do is if you could check out the screen right here, okay? Because being that this is basically the product we end up using on our metal
On your
roofs.
metal?
Yeah.
Okay, watch this.
And I want to see how bad it performs.
All right. So,
Now for my shingle roofs, I use the low Omni roll.
thank you.
Yes, love it. I have
So
no
this
problems. But
it's just a typical foam that guys will use because the metal roof guy told them to use it.
right.
All right. And so this foam, I had a different one. And the contractor like, I'm running out to my van because I want to see the one I use. So you got 100% airflow. I'm holding that up. See how I'm holding it to the side? I don't have my hand covering it because we want to give it every chance to work. And you see what's going on here.
584-295. 583-977.
What's scary is I have a house I'm
583.
fixing up, probably making an Airbnb, and we just used that on there.
584-247.
0? Okay, now that
And that's
astounds, and that's clean.
before it had a chance to collect debris.
Yes, and it will collect debris.
So
We know
when
that.
I showed you guys that metal roof video in today's,
yes.
that was a metal roof guy, like the guy over there. He figured out what it was. He walks up with a different foam, holds it up, and that's the one I had on in my training.
Okay.
Was his foam, and he's like, "Could you tape me?" I'm like, yeah, sure. He says, "My engineers don't know this, and this is going to explain why we're getting black mold reports."
Yeah.
And so we taped it, and the minute I did, I says, I need to add that to my training because I don't have a lot for ventilation on a metal roof. I have the Whirly Bird and the slant back.
Right, there's not a lot of options.
If you wanted to put the Omni Roll or the Pro 4, I would politely ask you not to.
Yeah.
Because we haven't figured it
Yeah.
out for bridge vent yet. I know Z-clips work.
Yes, Z-clips are great if you're doing standing seam,
Yeah.
and you get the slitted ones, that has the slots for the airflow. We just did one, and that I like. That was a good product. That's going to flow.
Yep.
But this is all we have out there. Now, there used to be one that had little perforated holes through it.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like that, but it had little holes through it, and so at least you knew some air was going to get through it.
This one?
No, actually not. It had literal holes. I don't even know if they make the product anymore. It was like this with drilled holes through it.
Well,
And it would be better, but you're still restricting the
in
flow.
any case, I've done 2 seminars in the Millersburg area, the Amish area of Ohio, and where 2 different people talked about, one guy leveled his own home, admitted it in front of the whole room, and the other guy is a buyer for a large chain, and his brother leveled his home, all due to black mold. So I'm just kind of like saying, if they tell you to use the foam, you're at least, I did a little service today.
Right, and
Because there's options besides foam.
but okay, well, I'm open for options.
Whirly Bird, Slant Back 750.
And again, I hate to put a hole in the roof. When you're doing a metal roof, one of the main things is you've got this nice metal system. Now you put a hole in there, and you're putting a system on, especially, I mean, this isn't real easy. This is pretty thick product.
Although
and it's not going to be. That's the base.
That's extra thick.
Okay, yeah.
Smokehouse.
All right, but at any rate,
It's
it's
very
still
thin aluminum. But
It's not easy to install if you're doing the ones that have the A pattern. They call them different things, you know what I mean? But they're standard pattern that you put down exposed fastener, and you got to know what you're doing to do it right, so
on
you don't
the-
have leaks.
on the app, oh God, yeah. So on the app we have instructions,
Yeah, I'm going to definitely download those.
Whirlybird for metal roof.
Oh, you got that on there. Awesome.
Yeah,
is
and,
good.
and we didn't create it. We didn't create it. A contractor like yourself said, "Why don't you have instructions for metal roof?"
Perfect.
And we said, "Well, we only have 2 engineers. We haven't got to it." And he says, "Well, I have."
Okay.
And I have this vision. He wrote it on a bar napkin, but he has 12 steps. You notice, you can see where he's trimmed it up so it'll fit. In this case, between seams.
Yeah, as
you
long
could
as
also
that's
do
between
it
seams, yeah, that would be fine.
the other fashion.
There you go. Yeah, that's where you run it. If you could do it in
we
between
got
a rib,
both.
yeah.
We got both.
With one rib down the center, that's a lot easier. It's better.
So yeah, it's on the app. So download that app.
I'm definitely going to download that app because it is a concern of mine. I want to have their customer's house ventilating properly. I mean, you're adding another layer in effect. If you don't take the shingles off, you know, now you're adding metal, and now you're going to have more heat buildup. You're not going to have a lot of breathability.
Right.
So I would think you're going to build up more warmth in the attic. You're going to need even more flow. But I have also seen years ago not using any foam or anything at all, or you said about snow coming in the attic. I've had it happen. It actually has happened. Fortunately, it's my neighbor's garage. I was able to go up there and fix it, but I had to put the flow vent in, and that took care of the problem.
Was there intake?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It was. I built it. It was balanced intake and exhaust, but it was literally reversing. But it's odd because it's on certain pitches. It seems like the steeper pitches tend to do that more, or it'll pull it in on a metal roof than the lower pitches. But again, you got to watch your gap at the top. You know, we actually closed that up a little bit. That might have been more the problem than anything. We actually closed up the gap and put the flow vent on and never had no problem. So yes, we do need in the industry a fix for this. That would be wonderful. But thank you.
You're welcome.
So LP Smart Side.
LP Smart Side, that's right.
Yeah, you've got bought into almost everything now.
Yeah.
So it's got.
Yeah, we're the ones that invented strand technology. So in this deck, you'll see everything. Our smooth texture on this side, cedar texture on this side.
More familiar with the cedar
Layer for
texture.
layer, it's the same color as you go down through the deck.
I kind of was liking the fact that you guys were one of the few that I could find. I think it was 10-foot boards instead of just 4x8s.
Oh yeah, we'll do
bought the-
4x8, 9, and 10.
Yeah, we had
Depending on the style.
we had to go with a 10, and I was like, what kind of product can we go where we don't have a seam?
Yeah, and I mean, you want to
And
do
it
that
worked.
because you want to lap a floor system. No one has a 7-foot wall with a 1-foot floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was inside a garage, so it was just a matter of aesthetics, but it was still,
Yeah, and we do on panels, on vertical panels, we make a 16-inch wide by 16-foot tall panel for tall board batten siding also. And we're the only company that makes that. That's one of our hottest selling items.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But I mean, if you want to take one of those, feel free to take a color deck or a trifold.
Okay.
I'll pick it up later because
What's that?
it's getting heavy to carry around right now.
Well, that's why we have a website.
You got outside corners.
Yeah, but these decks are nice if you all are ever trying to sell to one of your customers. It's a very handy tool because you have this QR code here. So if you would scan that with your camera on the QR code, it's going to ask you for your zip code. And we're not data mining you or anything, but it's going to bring up similar style homes to the region of the zip code that you pop in.
Right.
And then you can scroll down and you can find a Cape Cod or a Foursquare or a Colonial or whatever the style of house you're trying to find.
Yeah.
And then you can plug our 16 different colors into different aspects of that house to get a general idea of what your place is going to look like.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I
We
know.
also make all the crazy plywoods. We make a thermal insulated sheathing. And that's XPS foam. We make a magnesium oxide fire rated sheathing. This is the only sheathing in America like it. It addresses flame spread and burn through. So this is very big in commercial construction.
Right.
And then we have our WeatherLogic system also.
Okay. So kind of like a zip wall or something to that effect.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Nice.
Pretty blue color.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Getting into more stuff then than I was aware of.
Oh yeah. Well, we are the ones that originally invented OSB. We're the company that did it first. We
Okay,
did.
you heard it
So-
here first, guys. They're the ones.
Yeah, we're the ones. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to do on a house like this. We're going to build this year.
So, you know, we have a lot of people that are custom finishing with a wood grain finish.
Yeah.
The custom finish, that's a third party from us.
Yeah, so we're gonna be going
but
there.
we also just released this quarter a nickel cap siding
Okay.
with a 7-inch exposure. And of course, all our sidings are 16-foot lengths. So that would be a very good choice. For
That's
that.
kind of what I was just thinking about that whenever we were talking. I'm like, you know what? I'll have to inquire from ABC to see what we can do, or
Ask
do you?
the sales rep
or you
something about it.
Yeah,
And if you want,
Okay.
Justin and I are your area reps for
Okay.
LP. We're your manufacturer's rep, but we sell them. You know, we deal with all the distributors and all the locations. But the nickel gap would work very good, and it just opened up at the beginning of this year, basically to be your.
Okay.
So yeah.
Cool. Good.
Yeah, thanks. But yeah,
Why are we
don't
doing that?
hesitate to call or email, whatever.
Thank you.
We're here to help.
Kingsford. Yeah, I've used that. You're driven right off of it.
So this is for any kind of hard siding, LP,
Right.
hardy, exterior. And this is a fan
Oh, it's a
fold
mat.
for stone.
Ah, okay.
Stephen,
Oh, that works really well. Okay.
So-
stone and brick as well.
oh, really
Or
anything.
yeah. Yeah, really. I would say, why couldn't you use it for anything?
So you put a Haas wrap, you put this over.
Okay.
So now you have a redundant system.
Mm-hmm.
You have a drainage plane on the front, you have a drainage plane on the back. Now the top of this is 4 feet by 48 foot long. So it's a big accordion.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
On the top of this is a flat spot. It's not ribbed.
Okay.
So you tape it to the rack. So the water can only move 4 feet before you're pushing it back to the front of the wall. You don't want it to run down 10 feet to
Yeah.
the bottom of the wall.
Okay.
You want to push it to the front as soon as you can. By taping it to the wrap, now all of a sudden it can only go 4 feet before you're pushing it back out to the front.
Okay.
It's a great system. Plus, it's continuous installation.
Right. That's what would be the R value of that?
One.
Yeah.
Still,
It's still
like,
something.
It's
right,
like a
right.
sleeve on your.
Talk to you soon.
Wait. Clear or white?
583-948.
It's kind of annoying with the raffle going on in the background, but
So that's its claim to fame. Now, this is our regular extruded foam,
right.
R5 per inch. This is good for anything outside that's going to get wet.
Right.
It won't absorb
I've
water.
used that on the outside of basements. and stuff.
This is a phenolic foam.
I think I had to use that at my cousin's house that I built on the inside for the inside rating for
On the
the fire
inside.
and all that. Yeah.
It's this one right here. K9. You don't have to cover it.
Right. That was the
Leave
key.
it
We didn't have to
exposed.
cover it. We could leave it exposed, and that passed code. So
It does. It's right now it's not an R8, it's an R7, but probably within another quarter it'll be an R8 per inch. Its claim to fame is it doesn't smoke, right? And it doesn't support flame.
yeah, like this was pretty cool. That's right. You're good. And it slides over top of your roof vent, and you can bend it to the pitch of the roof. So that way there's no penetrations anywhere. I put one different style, another but a different how to word it. Heavy duty. I'll look it up there. I'll edit it in here, but anyway, that's actually even better than that one. Here's a display of the boot that I used over at my case. It's Lifetime. This was a really nice product. I like it. A little struggle getting it over here, but that's part of the whole thing. Is you want that good seal in there. You know, they have you clean the pipe with a cleaner and stuff, slide it on there, and it's not gonna move. Not gonna move. No, I was just saying I stalled one, not too long ago, and I got to say, I really liked it. Go to a 2012 pitch on a 3-inch.
18, 12, and a 4-inch. Also, you can put it dead level. It won't leak. So if you had a flat roof area where it was, it won't leak.
That's nice.
Oh, yeah.
I know what's these extensions and stuff like that for.
That's if you get in a copper situation, a copper pipe, just a sleeve to slide over it if you wanted to get rid of the copper, and then slide the boot over this to finish the job.
Okay. Not for a cast.
Just trying to make it the same. Well, this is a cast iron, so this is our easy fit. So you get a cast iron pipe, and you cut it down almost flush up with the roof. You take our easy fit, you drop it down.
Okay, so
these 3 things will keep the gases from staying here instead of going back into the house. And then when you're done with this, you can pull off this cap, cut to what you need, and then tap the cap back on if you don't want the full height. But it's a fix for a cast iron where most of the time you're leading it or you're gumping it up with something.
Something.
It's not going to work. It's not going to last.
And then
this is our bath dryer vent.
Yes.
So this is
that I haven't put in yet. I haven't installed one of those yet, but I gotta say they seem really good. Well built product.
So this is, you can see what's going on side and the inside with it. So you have stainless steel screws on the outside. You have gold anodized. You have stainless steel clips. Stainless steel. No, just so they don't rust.
Okay.
Stainless steel brace
there.
there.
Into one time where we're getting a little bit of sweat.
Yeah,
this believe it or not.
And then you got EPDM bumpers here. So when this thing closes, it doesn't make the noise, because most roofers, they get something done and they'll get a call back says, "You just did my roof," and I hear the tap 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 tap.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You put a $20 brawn vent in or something like that.
Okay. And then what's this adapter here for?
This is for this. You can either
if it's
this is usually a standard 4-inch. This is the adapter to make it a 3-inch. So this goes up into the thing, locks, and then you put this on to bring it down to a 3-inch if 3 inches is what you need.
Right. Now here's something I'm going to have to quote here pretty soon, I think.
Those are snow guards, standard snow guards. So this is for the old double lock system. So you got to tighten them in. This is now for the snap standing seam. So this slides over the.
Oh, you got 2 different types.
Yeah, slides over, then you set screw it in, so you don't put any holes in the metal.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
This is for the bigger, like 1.75 inch.
Like more of a commercial.
So it goes.
Or is that more like that aluminum they have?
No, it goes. No, this is aluminum.
Which standing seam?
The panel. Yeah, you can put it over aluminum or steel. It doesn't make a difference.
Okay. That's what I was getting.
And you're just going to put the screws in and then tighten them up. So you're going over the seam itself there.
Well, this has got to be a lot less pricey than the ice bar that you have to use. That, I can't remember what to call it, but you know, it's a whole lot to it to make an ice bar.
Oh, the ice bar you're going to do. This is the way they used to do it.
Yeah, right.
These were the old Burger snow guards that first started many years ago. The guy that owns the company invented these for Burger to begin with.
Yeah, it's kind of like a nostalgic look to it, so it's good. Thank you.
How you doing? We got Kevin here from
Appleton Supply.
Okay, so you got a couple of unique things. First of all, we were like, what are these? Don't recognize it, not in its natural habitat. Right. So that's for.
We need a natural habitat. It's an H-mold.
Or
the joints for LP siding. Slide in there. A little gap in the back to allow for expansion and contraction.
Nice little quick and easy. This I really like. How many times guys put stuff on, they don't put anything for weather protection on the house. I've had one where we've had to actually rip the whole sill plate off and the ridge board because they never did anything. And water just went right off the deck and snow built up and all that. Totally ruined it. And it's a lot more work where you can just slap that on and you're done. And then we got this kick out, clever little for the edges. Use a dormer or something like that coming down the roof, the water comes down and turns straight into the gutter. Right into the gutter. But that I think is pretty clever. Why frame it in with 2x4s and get a piece of OSB and fit it all in there? Just plug that hole and you're done for the end.
You're done. Big time saver.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you.
Time saver, thus a money saver.
There you go. There you go. Very good. Very good. Thank you. We're at the Symington booth. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, good. We got Symington windows in the back room, and
I love them.
Why?
Because it's the sunniest, hottest room, and it's just a small little room. And I thought I was going to have to put a blind or curtains if the sun came through. It got really, really hot out with the sun coming in, and I was like, I didn't put
efficiency in the glass right
It is totally worth the extra money, and you don't have to hide the beautiful windows.
Right.
And we have one window that is not. Okay, we made our own door out of tempered glass, and we doubled it. And I confirm. Yeah, so that one's got to get a curtain. The other ones, I'm like,
Definite difference.
I really, it's awesome.
That's fantastic. That's what they're meant
And I mean, I usually do color windows. I love color windows, but got into some Symingtons on a job, and it was like, wow, that is pretty nice. So, I mean, look at all the
It is worth the extra money.
structure in this.
Yes,
That's for the door, right?
Yeah, this is the Innovo patio door. This is a unique product to the market because it operates on a monorail system, similar to, if you think of Disney World, the monorail train, as opposed to a pocket sill patio door design that the panel actually sits in the pocket and rides on rollers. This actually rides on top of a track. This is the monorail here. The wheels, the rollers are hidden underneath.
Okay.
So you can make your adjustments through them, they're covered there. That way you get a smooth ride along the monorail system.
Right.
We also use a threshold here as opposed to, like I said, your typical patio door where it actually looks like an entry door.
It looks like it's a composite material.
Yeah, it's a composite fiberglass material. So it keeps the door from getting all that dirt, grime, and gunk that builds up over time into the pockets and sits there. And what's not represented on this sample, but is my favorite part about it, this actually has a top-mounted screen. So the screen actually mounts on the top and has rollers on the bottom, so it's not all the pressure on the bottom. It slides very smooth and opens and closes almost a lot easier than your typical.
Right, yeah, that's definitely an annoying little chatter when you're trying to close it and open it.
So a couple of the unique features there. This
they
is
come off.
proprietary door for Simonton. One of the best things I've seen out there in the market.
Okay.
Nice to know.
Well, I will definitely check into this. I got to get a sliding glass door for a customer. We're building an addition on, and
I encourage.
we'll definitely check into that.
It's different than anything else out there. You won't find this. This isn't what these aren't the patio doors you find in big
Do
box
they
stores.
install the same way?
What's that?
Is the installation same?
Yeah, you can order this actually knocked down as well if you wanted to and assemble it on site. But yeah, no, it would come just like your standard 6068 installed the same way.
Awesome, very good. And then, is this
is
for the window?
Norandix Extreme product made by Atrium, also available through ABC Supply. Very similar in the manufacturing process to the Simonton, very similar service platform. Just a little bit of different things over here. This is a reinforced window. We use some fiberglass reinforcement in the sash profiles to make it stronger and carry a higher DP rating. Also available with a foam fill frame, and we can also do triple pane with a super spacer. This setup right here on a window actually gives you an insulation, an R5 value insulation on your product. We don't normally equate R values in windows, but most people do for insulation. This actually R5 comes out.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, what do we got now?
So we're introducing the world's first grade 1 gunnable roof tile by Dow Tile. It's made of clay, sand, and crushed rock that we punch under tremendous pressures, and we kiln fire at 2,500 degrees, making it completely dimensionally stable and non-porous.
So it's like a slate?
It's actually man-made stone. It's a sintered product, so you're very close. It is a stone product like a slate product. It's just manufactured. They've been making tile like this for hundreds of years, but recently they've been able to bring down the manufacturing time to a point where the cost really makes sense for roofing.
The nice thing is you can get right on it. You're not going to break it like a slate or anything like that.
The scrap on this is amazingly low.
And it looks like you got a peel and stick strip.
That's right. So we're backing this with using a 3M adhesive that's been around for a few decades for high-rise construction facades, and then we put a butyl strip on the right-hand side.
Okay. And then
it goes in with 3 fasteners, and it goes
just 3
down.
fasteners. That's it.
Okay. It achieves 185 mile an hour wind uplift with this.
Wow. I was going to ask you because it looks like he's just laying it right on top of the other one.
It's a 4-inch overlap, yes.
Just because of the 4-inch overlap and the rigidity of the product itself, it's going to be the wind resistance where it's not going to lift up. That is tight. I can hardly get that thing off. I mean, I'm struggling to get anything out of that. Because it looks like it just wouldn't, they're just setting it down there. But my goodness, that's impressive.
This is a Class 4 product, so it can take extremely large hail. So it's very strong.
Wow.
It's very walkable. We put a slip-resistant surface surface on this for roof pros so they can walk on it, much like we do all our tile
Yeah, you'd
products.
slide right off of that.
And because it's kiln fired at 2,500 degrees, it's actually a color fast product, so zero fade.
Oh, right.
Which is, practically unheard of. We make it in some tremendous wood colors. Imagine being able to give somebody a wood shake look and no fade, no maintenance, no algae growth. All this stuff that you see here is all tile.
That would have been really good on, we have a house we're restoring, it's from the 1890s. When I took down the siding, it had shake on the side.
Sure.
I just didn't want to have to get up there and paint it. And so I hated to put siding over it, but that would have worked.
You'd need a screw with a vented drainage sheet, but you could absolutely use this as a sidewall product. We have some gorgeous pictures of it. You ever see Yellowstone? Kind of those type of houses, Just,
Could even look kind of decent on that.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That would be we're supposed to build that this year, so maybe we'll think about doing that.
It's going to cost twice as much.
Yeah, no, he'll have a fit. How much? No, but,
Well,
Well, what?
So what do you think of the College of Knowledge? Is it worth coming down to Pittsburgh and going to this venue?
It was good. It was very useful. I wouldn't do it every day.
Did you learn anything?
Yeah, a little bit. Just enough to say, are you installing your product right? How can you get more out of your product? How is it going to be more useful? How are you going to get more years out of it and a happier customer?
Yeah.
And install it. And the support that you got when you come to College of Knowledge or any vendors, the support team, and everybody gave you your cards. It's like, you got a problem, don't think you have to handle it on your own.
That was really nice.
You talk to the vendors, you get the right person to talk to you, and they're like, we're going to take care of you. We're going to answer your questions. If you got a problem with that, we're going to help you out. So don't ever feel like if you're installing something, even if it's something brand new, that you're alone, because you're not. Talk to them.
You got somebody that stands behind the product.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
They'll lead you the right way.
Yeah.
Don't go by your old knowledge and thinking you're going to use a new product because you might install it wrong.
You have more to say than I did. No, it was very good. It was a nice event. I appreciate all the vendors coming down and doing this for us and helping us answer questions. They were all knowledgeable, and kudos.
Thank you, Justin. For holding our hand.
Yes, thank you, ABC, for putting
Thank you,
this on.
ABC.
As a vendor, I do value ABC a lot. There's a lot of good other vendors, not knocking them, but I'm glad that I started using ABC and been very happy
Justin
with
Jensen.
and having a good
Did I pronounce it
good
correctly?
background. Just wanted to say thank you to everybody and for putting us on, and we really enjoyed it, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it and enjoyed watching this, and we'll be back again.
One more thing. If you come, the food's really good.
We didn't win anything on a raffle though, but
That's
I never
okay.
do, so that's okay.
That's all right. It was fun.
But anyway, hope you enjoyed watching this, and see ya.
Bye.
Huh?
You want to take a picture for me?
No.
Good?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, so.
Thanks very much. That was cute.
So where are we at?
I don't know. I told him not to ask me questions. Just start over.
We're in Pittsburgh. We're at Casino Riverside? Casino Riverside. And ABC Supply is having a College of Knowledge
Told you to
seminar.
stop this.